we're in the final third part of the 2023 NFL season, and this game between the Atlanta Falcons and New York Jets has major playoff implications. Both teams seem to be going in the opposite direction. The Falcons beat the New Orleans Saints last week to take control of the NFC South and now have the lead, while the New York Jets lost to their divisional rival, the Miami Dolphins, to go 4-7 and are now second to last in the AFC conference as a whole. And just the hopes of potentially having a kind of Cinderella type season and Aaron Rodgers coming back, just starting to get smaller and smaller, sitting now at 4-7, as I said. And Ryan, I want to throw it over to you. It's just, this game, it's very unique just because I think the Jets, the only way they can really win these games if the defense scores more points than their offense can score. And the Falcons also have consistently throughout the entire season has shot themselves in the foot. They've lost games. They've lost games more than they've been beaten, if that makes sense. You know, like they just get turnovers after turnovers. They had Desmond Ridder had 2 picks in this past game against the Saints. Luckily, though, they were able to rush for over 200-plus yards here. What is kind of the winning strategy for both of these teams as we enter this crucial point in the season?
So for me, if I'm the Falcons, kind of what you said, I'm going to come in and try and run the ball. The Jets, as of week 12, have the 29th ranked rushing defense in the league, which is surprising for what we thought they would be coming into the season. With that being said, this Jets defense has to be in the top 5 in snaps played, because they are constantly on the field because this offense is so bad. So I think teams are just kind of wearing this defense down and just able to kind of wear them down through attrition and just running. And also, too, one of the biggest threats that this Jets team poses is this pass rush. Especially Robert Saleh loves to run a really aggressive defensive style, so he plays press man and then sends blitzes. And Quinnen Williams is one of the best pass rushing defensive tackles in the league, if not just overall defensive tackles. And so if I'm the Falcons, I'm gonna try to fight fire with fire here and just run the ball at the Jets. This is the game I think you drafted Bijan Robinson for, and Matthew Bergeron for that matter. Come in, be physical, be the stronger man in the trenches, and just try to out physical the Jets. With that being said, that's easier said than done. And the Jets, I mean, I think all 4 of their games. All 4 of their wins. So they beat the Bills 22-16. They only scored 16 offensive points in that game. And they held the Bills to 16. When they beat the Broncos in week 5, they held them to 21. When they beat the Eagles, they held them to 14. And when they beat the Giants, they held them to 10. So I think 21 is that if you can get over 21, you have a pretty good chance of winning there, scoring 3 touchdowns. And this Jets offense in the last few weeks has put up 13, 6, 12, 6, 13. So this is not a good offense with Garrett Wilson there. Even with Garrett Wilson there and Breece Hall, 2 great skill position players, this offense really struggles just because this quarterback room is probably the worst in the NFL, and that's coming from a Patriots fan.
You guys give them. It's no shocking that you guys are the bottom 2 in the AFC as a whole with the quarterback rooms you guys have combined. But it really is a shame too. Just you look at the talent of Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall coming back from his ACL injury, and then you just look at how good this defense is, and it's like I know they're ranked 3rd or 4th overall in total rushing yards allowed, 4th, but then pass defense wise. Significantly better, about the 5th best pass defense.
Yeah,
and so I think the running stats are overinflated just because these teams have massive leads against them, so they just run the ball constantly, just try and run out the clock because they know their offense can't score against them. So it's a shame that you see there's these great pieces that have just unfortunately gone to waste because of Aaron Rodgers' injury, but also too I think is what we saw here in that Miami game. With Tim Boyle at quarterback, I don't think it was going to make too big a difference if it was Zach Wilson or Tim Boyle. And I'll say now, I don't think Aaron Rodgers might keep them in the playoff hunt deeper, but I don't know for how weak this offensive line is and how many injuries they've suffered. I don't know how many more games he would like. They wouldn't be leading the division. I mean, they maybe could have eked into the wild card.
I can, looking at their schedule, they beat the Patriots in week 3 if Aaron Rodgers is healthy. They probably beat the Chiefs in week 4, and they beat the Raiders in like week 9, I believe.
I don't know. I'll push back on the Chiefs game because Zach Wilson played like Aaron Rodgers in that game.
So yeah, he did. He played really well. Yeah, but still, the other two they would be 6-5 right now instead of 7-4.
Yeah, but
or 4-7. Sorry.
Luckily for me, as you can tell, Aaron Rodgers is not playing, and this offensive line is still atrocious. And the thing for me, the key for the Falcons, like coming into this game, and they have given up a lot of rushing yards, and I think you just got to wear this defense out and control the ball, control the clock. Not like you care if that offense is on the field or not, but these are the last 3 drives from the Falcons game against the Saints, excluding the one play kneel down that end of the game. Third to last drive ended in interception. The second last drive was the go-ahead touchdown to extend the lead there. And then on the final drive, it was a 10-play field goal drive that put them up 9 points. The reason why I specify that out is it was 23 plays amongst those 3 drives, 5 passes. Desmond Ridder had 1 touchdown and 1 pick. The final drive alone, all 10 plays, 10 straight rushes. Just 10 straight rushes. It was the team that I had seen at the end of last year where it was just, we're just going to maul it right down your throat. And that's the type of mentality. Once it seemed much simpler. I think you're putting Desmond Ridder in better situations, though, so that when he does, you do have to pass the ball or it opens up that play action. Then we also saw him use his legs a lot more, make it a little bit simpler, make him not have to do these kind of heroic throws. The interception that ended the first half just made me so upset because part of it was Ridder. I think Bijan also. There's definitely some miscommunication because Bijan and Jonnu Smith were like right next to each other in the red zone. So there's some sort of miscommunication. But also, too, why are you throwing a pass play there when you've just been running the ball all over the Saints team? And at the same time, you're getting the ball to start the second half, and you're guaranteed 3 points. The Saints had no timeouts. They were not going to try and push the ball down the field. So it's that stuff for me where I will say I might be different than a lot of Falcons fans. I actually like Arthur Smith as head coach and the play calling. I think he can be very creative. I think he overthinks himself. Here. Trust your running back. Trust Bijan Robinson, who you drafted 8th overall and had a whale of a game, rushing and receiving touchdown. Tyler Algier is a great compliment. Cordell Patterson is a great compliment to the compliments. They ran for over 200 yards. Actually, I want to be exact here. I think it was 228 rushing yards. Bijan Robinson had 16 carries. Algier had 10. Cordell Patterson had 8. And Ridder had 7. A lot of those were probably more pass plays. But still, so 41 rushes, you had 5.6 yards per carry. And that's the type of mentality that you want to have. I think Desmond Ridder gives us the best chance to win compared to Taylor Heineke. He has much more of a cannon, and I think he's much more elusive. But at the same time, though, I don't want him throwing the ball like 40 times a game.
Oh, no,
that's not going to be a recipe for success. Maybe we can get to that point because I do see some flashes of his success. But I love seeing this smash mouth type Atlanta Falcons team that I feel like we hadn't really seen all year. But like that was a team that's what kept us in games last year was our ability to run the ball. So if we could do that against this Jets team, our defense needs to keep playing. Grady Jarrett still, you can see the huge loss, but our defense is very good. I should hopefully do fine against this Jets offense. So I didn't want to just jinx it for us, but what's going to kill us in this game is what has killed us all season.
It's
is
mistakes.
Turning the ball over.
Yeah.
We made mistakes in every single game. All of our losses, we have not all of our losses. Lions and Jags beat us, but Commanders we blew it. Vikings we blew it. Cardinals we blew it. Titans we blew it. It's all those just dumb games that should not have been losses. It's just because we beat ourselves. And that's the only way the Jets can beat us because they can't put points up on the board unless it's with their defense. Knock on wood, I'd say that Tim Boyle is going to be a Hall of Fame quarterback for this one game and have 400 yards. Just watch it. So, but I the momentum that the Falcons have. Also, too, is crucial for them. We're tied with the Saints now and have the tiebreaker, but the Saints are playing the Lions. So winning this game and the Lions and the Saints lose, now I have essentially like a 2-game advantage. Help us out, because I don't want to have Week 18 come down and it's a win and you're in type situation at the Superdome. So I don't want to watch a Sunday night football game in Week 18 with the Atlanta Falcons playing. So, but it's going to be a good game here. I'm trying to think. I'm really trying to think if there's anything else here, because that's just kind of the formula for success.
I was going to jump in and say, like, throughout the season, we hadn't seen the offense that we had seen last year from the Falcons. They just weren't quite the same, like physicality wise. And this last week, we saw last year what they did well last year, and they brought it into this season. And that was just downhill running. That final drive was really impressive, because they were just like, we're going to run it. We know we're going to run it. We're just bigger, faster, stronger, and we're still going to run it. Like, and that to me is what the Falcons should be doing in this game, because this Jets defense, if you let them pin their ears back and get after Desmond Ridder, that's not a recipe for success in this matchup. The recipe for success is get this Jets defense on their heels. Then you can open up the play action, open up the bootlegs, give Desmond Ridder some simple, like 1 or 2 reads. If it's not there, he can either run for 4 yards or throw the ball 17 yards out of bounds into the 5th row. Like, that is, I think, the game plan for success here. So let's go ahead and get into our picks. Before we do that, if you guys have not already, please go ahead and like and subscribe. Tyler and I were trying to get to 2,333 subscribers, which would put us at 2,000 subscribers in a calendar year. So if you could help us reach that goal, that would be much appreciated. Tyler, I'm going to throw it over to you. Who do you have coming out ahead in this matchup? I think I already know, but just to make it official.
Now, I picked the Falcons every single week so far this season, and they haven't let me down in over a week. So I'm going to go with the Falcons again. I just think, once again, I'll say, on paper, we are the better team. We just make so many mistakes. I think it is going to be tough scoring against this Jets defense, but we're just going to have to wear them out, just like how these Jets defense always gets worn out. We're going to have to stop the offense, make them have 3 and outs. I think the AJ Terrell, Garrett Wilson battle is going to be very fascinating to watch. I think David Onyemata, Calais Campbell, all those guys, I think they should feast. I don't believe that there are any injuries from last week's game that I'm seeing outside of maybe Mike Hughes, our cornerback. Our backup cornerback got hurt. But once again, I mean, that's not the biggest loss. And so I think if we rush forward, give this defensive front, this offensive line just havoc, just like how that's been havoc every single week for them, make Tim Boyle really confused, and drop back all the guys that we possibly can. So it's just hard for him just to throw it to Garrett Wilson, because that's really their only weapon outside of Breece Hall. And the Falcons,
this Jets running game is fairly effective.
Breece Hall is legit. I thought I said that,
but they're not the most efficient, but they definitely get their fair share of big plays.
Yeah. So it's our defensive line's got to play well. And then the offense, do not beat yourselves. Just don't beat yourselves. That's all you have to do.
Yeah.
And then, I'm going to go a couple other things.
I'm going to go with the Falcons as well. Just watching the Jets the last few weeks, I think that locker room for like the middle of the season for like 3 or 4 weeks, I think they were like, okay, like maybe the Zach Wilson thing, sticking with him was the right move. And now that they're kind of moving on to Tim Boyle, I think they just have no faith in this offense, and they're getting into territory where as soon as one thing goes wrong on the offensive side of the ball, we saw this with New England in the beginning of the year, but as soon as one thing goes wrong on the offensive side of the ball, it almost feels like the gaps in the running game on the defense get bigger. The windows in the passing game for the defense get wider, and it's just like they put so much pressure on this defense in and out of every drive that it's just impossible for them to live up to what they need from them.
And we saw it too in that first half, outside of, I'm pretty sure, it was 10-6, and then the crazy pick 6 happened in the first half. So 17-6. So it's like the defense comes out strong and they fight so hard, but they're on the field so much.
Exactly.
that
Yeah.
they are just gassed. And then by the fourth quarter, normally they're down 2 scores, and it is kind of one of those. To your point, that mentality is like, well, shoot, our offense isn't going to put up 14 points
in a quarter. Yeah. So it's just one of those things. I think they're a little demoralized on the offensive side of the ball, or on the defensive side of the ball, because of the offense. So we're both going with the Falcons in this matchup. Let's go ahead and wrap this video up here. If you guys have not already, please go ahead and like and subscribe. Again, Tyler and I were trying to get to 2,333 subscribers by the end of the year. So if you could help us reach that goal, that would be very much appreciated. And other than that, we will see you guys next time.